Hey moguls, it's Dr. Tracy here, and I am tuning in as I move through an upgrade on myself. And as always, I'd like to invite you all to come along. And the focus as I continue to deinstall the Matrix operating system, or some people call it the simulation, some people call it the system. We refer to it as the industrial operating system or the survival operating system because it's been going on for a long time. But as we do this, there are different programs that are running. These are installations that were put into humans from the time they were little. They've been there for generations, eons, centuries. And the one I'm focused on today is this whole thing with being polite instead of just being in the truth. And this process of like, we have to be so polite and we have to be the good girl and the good boy and all of this stuff, which is, seems on the surface like, well, isn't this good? Right? We'll all get along better. But what I know, the longer that I truly keep uninstalling the Matrix operating system, helping other clients do that, so we can just literally run the operating system of sovereignty and truth, and trust that truth is the fuel that uh, creates us. Truth is the fuel that fuels us, and truth is the fuel that creates an amazing reality. So, as I go through these upgrades, I can see them for what they are. They're not just programs, they're not just emotions. For many years, I think I've got like 600 videos on these upgrades from one program to the other, but ultimately understanding these are part of an operating system that humanity has been operating on for so long. In the be polite, be nice, be kind, all of that stuff is a huge cost. It's a massive cost. It costs time, it costs money, and it costs us our sovereignty. So, as I do this upgrade on myself, which is just layers and layers of doing it until I know it's deleted, and I invite you to it. It is about understanding the difference between what it is to be truthful and conductive in that way. We're always taught to be productive, but really to be conductive so that any of us interacting, collaborating, co creating together, so that we're just literally in the fuel of the truth. And it's been a long time since I've been deprogramming and deinstalling junk code and faulty programs and programs that don't allow us to be in our sovereignty and just let the simple truth flow. And this polite, good girl, good boy thing is one of them because it assumes and it makes us believe and play out this game that truth will hurt us. And what I find is that truth only hurts when you're not in it. And it's not it's not kind at all to be in anything other than that. And it takes a lot to deprogram that out of our system and reinstall the codes that run reality. Um, so I just caught myself in an example today. I caught myself in an experience and I watched myself and saw the program running. And thank God my consciousness is at a level where I can just see it. I'm like, oh, look at this is activating. And I was in a high level meeting with just a lovely person. And I could tell early on that while we had alignment on many things, and I could see why we were being brought together and there was a lot of alignment, I got the signal early on that there was some misalignment or just I had a clear set of directives because I follow the signal, and I'm on source flow. And this person had a clear protocol of how they operate. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. I think that's like by design. And I just caught myself, just noticed myself like that signal was clear. I just needed to say, you know what? I'm absolutely just getting the signal that says, I just want to be clear, this is the set of priorities that I'm just absolutely leading with here. And I really honor the process the way you do it, but I can already tell that that there's just enough misalignment that we could just wrap up this meeting. Otherwise, I can tell you this is exactly what I'm looking for. And if that can work, great. But I'm absolutely not here to be the architect of your misalignment. So I caught myself doing the good girl thing, which, when you grow up, at least in the Western society, but I think that is pretty much the human operating system at this point. There's a politeness, there's a respect, there's an honoring and all that, but it's like 15 minutes into the process, knowing that, oh, it's just the signal, like, oh, this is great. We can just wrap up and be like, I'm so glad we're connected and we have each other as a resource. And that truth just facilitates whether or not something is going to flow. And I watched this way that the good girl polite programming costs you, because as I was wanting to say it, I could literally feel the paralysis of like just being taught to not say the truth, and then observing other people not saying the truth, and all of our parents and their parents and their parents. This was all this was all grooming for the slave matrix system. And it's so rare for people to be in the truth that when they hear it, it can be, startling to them. So I just watched it and knew that I wanted to just, assert that. And while it took me probably an extra 30 minutes to do so, I asserted different pieces of it to say, well, this is really my priority. That's my priority. The ultimate capacity to simply say, I already get a strong sense that the way you do this and the way that I really want something to happen, we're just slightly off, and that's okay. That's what this meeting is about. And we can wrap up, and then we know that we're there if we need anything with each other in the future. And I know who to send to you, and you know who to send to me. And while I eventually got this out, and it's 30 minutes, maybe it was, by the time the whole thing wrapped up, a meeting that could have been 15 minutes at the most. It was, by the time you say goodbye and all, it was like 45 minutes probably. And more than that, the time is one thing, the cost is another, because our time is our most valuable asset. And really, actually, more than that, we are our most valuable asset. And that's his most valuable asset. He is. And honoring that truth in for both of us is so much more aligned with what it is that we do is transformation. And so I'm around a lot of people that are transforming, that this is an area, right? Because this is an upgrade. So I can take it on sometimes and have to re-upgrade it. And what I notice is, if you take that and the compounding effect of it, because it's probably taken me a decade to keep reprogramming out of that and all of its variations, because it has many hidden, tricky variations to it. Just be polite, and you don't say, actually, you know what? I think we're wrapped up. Let's wrap it up. Which is a gift to you, a gift to them, and a gift to whatever it is that is in alignment that we're gonna connect with. So when you extrapolate the cost of that out, for me, it goes back to literally from the time I was on this planet, being a good girl, even being someone who stopped myself from crying at a very, very young age, even in my crib, to just make it easier for people that were taking care of me. And that is like the beginning of a lifetime of that cost of just trying to be nice, which seems completely logical in the survival simulation operating system, when truth is the most conductive thing that there is. And it just elevates everyone, and we're all craving it and starving for it, because it's so lacking in the simulation. So if any of you recognize this, I just like to share my upgrades as they occur. And this one is sort of, it's a repeat, but it's like a deeper level of just going like, wow, I thought I deleted that program. But when there's maybe a next moment where there's something feels really important in that story of it, and then you can just see that. It's like, "Oh, there's just this way I'm being nice." But to watch this part that just wanted to assert that, and then to see the other programming kick in that's like, "Oh, no, no, just be nice and be polite," and all of that. I could thank God I could watch it and I could see what it was doing. It's like, well, this is nice. The truth is nice, by the way. The truth is the nicest thing that there is for everyone. And when I all of a sudden started flashing to the cost of that throughout anyone's lifetime, every moment of politeness over truth, every moment, the cost of that, the cost on your own soul to be like, I just want to share what, because the truth is just what source wants to say through us. The signal is coming through, and we're like, oh no, I can't say it because we were taught that. Same thing happened to our parents. There's no fault. There's no blame. This is a program that's been running throughout the survivor operating system of the human collective for so long. And so my upgrade is really appreciating that we can watch it, that it's not like it's over. It's not over till it's over, right? So it's able to say, okay, I was able to prompt myself and just be like, what a lovely person I'm speaking to. How great that we've been brought together to assess our compatibility and alignment. And noticing how much I love it when it always like connects up and just being like, oh, this is great when we know where there's any misalignment. Isn't that a very amazing, productive thing? And I could catch myself so I could finally assert what I needed to assert. And while it's 45 or extra 30 minutes of time, what it is the compounding effect throughout a lifetime of every time that happened from the time we were little, young, throughout our life, in a relationship. This fits for me in relationships that are romantic partnerships and all of that, where I knew something right up front was misaligned and I ignored it because I was taught to ignore it. I was taught to be nice. I was taught to like, let me be nice. And I don't want to say to this person, hey, we have all this great alignment, but this is not aligned. It sounds absolutely ludicrous, but these are things that I've been absolutely reprogramming in my life. And the higher you get into building your empire, your dynasty, becoming a top business mogul, being an absolute master of your reality, you're going to meet these things because at each level you rise to, there's another, it's going to reveal what the programming is of the operating system that needs to be deleted and totally upgraded to the new one to be at a level where you're in the truth flow and everything operates in flow. That's the beautiful part more about the truth as well, everyone, is the truth flow supports the reality that you want to create. And if you don't, then you end up in situations where you're like, well, it was kind of a yes and I went with it and then it's not like it, you know what I mean? Um so I'm inviting myself, if you want to come along, to 100% upgrade this program from the good girl to the good boy, the polite, uh the be kind and just go with the flow of that. And I am upgrading that to the truth flow as the absolute kindest, nicest, most sweetest thing I could do. And how that will literally gain me time, energy, money, um, my own self, continuing to become more of itself, the ability to create in a higher level. And this is easily worth millions and millions of dollars. Like it's probably worth more than that, but let's just say at a minimum, it's worth millions of dollars or dirhams, wherever it is that you are, um, whatever currency you're flowing in. And we're just replacing that, like, go with that flow to be the truth flow. And this is an upgrade that is a game changer, and I just wanted to bring you along for it. If you want to take that on in, I really invite you to just fully take it in, notice that, and notice that going with the flow is not as good as just being the flow itself. All right, moguls. So, lots of great, amazing resources and tools for you to utilize to make these upgrades. An amazing website, awesome books about transformation and reprogramming yourself and changing your operating system from the survival one to the sovereign one. And your human design chart is also available to you to see how your system actually is created to work and make reality. And that also helps you know exactly also how you're meant to be navigating and collaborating and creating in this world. So that's all available for you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next upgrade. Bye bye.